Welcome to Houston Sports Talk with your host, Robert Land.
Thanks for checking into the best Houston sports podcast, part of the National Bleav Network, presented by FanDuel. Back with me to look at Rockets early season storylines and surprises is analyst Clayton Anderson. Good to see him. Always great to talk to you, Clayton. And hey, I know it's early. We're just 3 games into this, but if you were to hand out a grade to the Rockets overall, what would you give them right now?
Not gonna like a C plus, maybe. Maybe that's being too negative, but I'm not the highest right now, and I know we're gonna get into a lot more later. But yeah, about a C plus at most, a B. But yeah, it's about where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I was happy with what they did against OKC. The Nets game was obviously fantastic, no surprise. But the Detroit game, I'm not as down on it as some people are. I listened on a Rockets X Spaces after the Pistons game. That was a big mistake. It was just a bunch of trashing Udoka as an offensive coach. They just played one of the best defensive teams in NBA history in the first game, and a pretty tough Pistons defense, ranked 10th last year. Oh, by the way, they did score 111 that night. So I don't know why the big trashing of the offense. I know it doesn't look good. You're having to learn things with a new point guard. But Clayton, after 3 games, they have the fourth best offensive rating in the NBA. Their field goal percentage is up 1.3%. Their three-point percentage is up 4.5%. Their free throw percentage is up 9.1%. Not bad considering they just lost their starting point guard 5 weeks ago, and they have 2 new starters.
Me giving a C plus is kind of more so on a player-to-player basis, right? Not by the team itself. I was thrilled with the double OT, and not the loss part, of course, but with what I saw. Alperen Sengun, I mean, that just looks like a different dude. I mean, his shot looks so buttery. He just looks so confident going into his motion, so that's good. Yeah, we're going to talk about a lot more later, but my perspective is more like nuggets here and there, not the team itself. I mean, 1 and 2 is not the worst start. It's 82 games, right? But not the worst start. I love the offensive stats. I am kind of shocked at what the defensive rating is right now, but again, it's early, so.
They've experimented with Adams and Okogie in the starting lineup. Back and forth so far. Do you have a preference?
And see, that's hard, man, because look, the double big lineup, man, it's always just, barbecue chicken. But I'm also pleasantly surprised by Okogie and just his flow within the offense, and that he actually contributes, right? I know we discussed Okogie before the season started. We questioned what that move was, but I like his fit. I think it's just a team-to-team thing. Okogie here, Adams here. It just really depends, or maybe in spurts.
My number one biggest surprise so far, and let's start off with our 3 biggest surprises. My number one is Josh Okogie. He's gone beyond any expectation that I personally had. In many ways, I like his defense more than Dillon Brooks. He doesn't get blown by as easily. I don't have to worry about the unnecessary technicals, but the shocker so far is his offense. In his last 3 seasons, he shot 41% from the field, 33% from 3. But Clayton, after a good preseason, he's shooting 58.3%, 58.3%, and 57.1% from 3. Now, hey, probably not going to continue. It's early on, but this is fantastic because he's also drawing free throws at a much higher rate than he has over his career. And that's something that there's no way you could have expected.
It's funny you say that. I was looking it up earlier. Yeah, he's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th highest field goal percentage on the team in front of KD, Tari, Sengun, Amen. So, like you said, it's short, it's early, but still, these are very good positive returns for new guys to the team. And this should bode well for, when we do get some reinforcements or the more that they learn. It's just good to see that some of these other free agent moves are working out right before, it got dire. So,
what's your number one biggest surprise? Is it Okogie?
My number one biggest surprise, it's not Okogie. He's probably my 3rd. My biggest is Sengun, man. Like I said, I just like looking at Sengun and he just looks so much more sure of himself. And maybe the global basketball he just played, maybe that helped him out. That's probably an understatement. But even going back to the first game, I mean, 39, 11, but just watching him play, he's not laboring. Like, he doesn't look like that. He looks like a legit number 2 option, maybe even number 1 if the night is right. His 3-pointer looks good right now. His motions look silky. So I think Sengun for me is like, he's taken that next step into solidifying him being like a top 5 center. He already was to me, but he's playing like he's pushing for like more so 3-2-ish, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm being hyperbolic, but that's my number one so far.
Yeah, I had him at number 3, and it wasn't Sengun. Like in general, it was Sengun's shooting. It's been an
Yes.
odd mixed bag. We know his 3-point shooting is an incredible 58.3%. He's shooting 84.6% from the free throw line, which is the most exciting number to me because that pretends that the shooting has gotten better. But then I say it's a mixed bag because his field goal percentage, despite the 3-point rate, is only at 45.3%. That is down 4.3% from last year. This same bugaboo of finishing around the basket, we've seen it before, Clayton, all last year. Most of that, I know it's just 5 for 18 against Detroit. So maybe early season numbers are skewed somewhat. The other 2 games were good. But if there's one thing that you need from Sengun this year, it's he's got to finish around the basket. Because if he does that, all of a sudden he's a threat to maybe give you 25 to 30 on any given night.
You said it. It's make the easy stuff. Literally make your layups, right? That is really all it is. And Sengun would be it'd be so nice. It'd be beautiful.
Let's get to your second biggest surprise in just a second. But before we move on, what about you listeners and viewers? What's your biggest early surprise in the season? Let us know in the YouTube comments. If you missed our live Texans 49ers post-game show with Jason Braddock and Tom Chavaria, find it on our live tab. Go to the YouTube, go to the live tab. Easy to find. Our next live post-game, 9 p.m. Sunday. Huge game with the Broncos. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube with notifications so you can get updates on the live shows and all of our content. Also, subscribe on your favorite podcast app. All right, Clayton, before we get to some more surprises, I was shocked that our friends at FanDuel, going back to the Texans now, have the Texans as a favorite over the Broncos by 1.5. Are you bold enough to pick the Texans on Sunday? Because they are betting everything that I guess the Broncos fans are going to, go, oh my God, we got to pick the Broncos, because this doesn't make any sense to me if you watch these 2 teams this year.
I would. And I know Pat Surtain being out, that's probably has a lot to do with maybe some of these numbers. But I mean, doing the research, right? I mean, the Denver Broncos still have the most sacks in the NFL. CJ Stroud, he's had problems with staying upright due to his O-line, so that's a bad combination. Denver's a legit top 5 defense overall, even though you got the number 1. But I would. I think hopefully they've been embarrassed as an offense enough to not revert back to bad habits. Like, you have enough on tape now to where you face 49ers defense, who, for all the injuries, they're the number 7 overall scoring defense. So you've beat a quality defense now, right? You've put it on tape. You've played the corpse of the Baltimore Ravens. You played the Titans, wherever kind of garbage they are, and now you beat the 49ers. I would definitely go for the Texans on the over here. I'll go Texans beat the spread. I'm sorry. I would bet the Texans, not against spread.
You bet the Texans. So you're going to take, you're going to give them the 1.5, which I don't know. I don't have that confidence. If I were betting on this, I would bet against the Texans. I mean, boy, I hope what we saw last week was real. I hope that we saw a Texans team that could figure it out against a better team. Although, boy, the 49ers are banged up. I mean, Fred Warner, and there's a laundry list of guys. You could say it was close to as bad as the Ravens were when they faced the Ravens as far as the injuries are concerned. So, yeah, I am not, going to fall for that bait. I just still would pick the Broncos. The Texans have to beat a good team, Clayton. They got to beat a good team at some point. We can't just get crushed by the good teams and then beat up on the bad teams, because if you look at the rest of the schedule, it's not going to get any easier. There's a lot of good teams left. And if they continue this pattern, I mean, they're nowhere close to a playoff team.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, as currently constructed, yeah, if they don't learn from their lessons, absolutely not. That's why this 3-game stretch is so important, because you have an opportunity. You beat the 49ers. If you can even if you squeak out a win against Denver, you can sweep your homestand and be at 5-4 coming out of it, which sets you up beautifully. Your defense is going to be number 1, so that's going to travel well. Your offense just has to be competent. That's all. And what we've seen against the Rams, against the Bucks, against Jacksonville, and now against Seattle is that the offense just succumbed to the big mistake. If they can just avoid the big mistake against a decent team, they can squeak out these wins. Like, the defense does not need that much. just avoid the big mistake, right? CJ, take the easy stuff, right? Nick Haley, get a yard, right? Like use Jalen Noel, use Jaden Higgins, like use the weapons at your disposal, and you're getting Nico and you're getting Christian Kirk back. And hopefully they make some decisions at the trade deadline. It'd be nice, maybe Brees, maybe Kamara, he doesn't want to leave New Orleans, but whatever. Maybe Devon A-Chain. I don't know. But they have all the momentum. They just have to play competently. They don't need excellence on offense. Just be competent, and they should be fine.
I want a left guard. I want a tight end. I'm not as worried about the running back situation as some people are. To me, running backs, they just feel like they fall off trees. So, you can find running backs that are competent. And I don't know if a running back's the difference between a bunch of stuff. They need a long-term left guard. And if they can get a guy that maybe they can trade for that's a short timer that they can convince to come here for a longer time, like Batonio, like Zeitler with the Titans, that would be great. I mean, the Texans defense is great. And you know whose defense is typically great? This is my number 2 big surprise. Amen Thompson, defense. It's not what I've come to expect with the Rockets and Amen Thompson. His stocks are down 1.7 per game. I mean, it's early, but that seems like a lot. Even his man-to-man defense isn't up to standard, Clayton. Plus, he's been in early foul trouble the last 2 games. It's not like I'm panicking, but it's worth noting. I can't tell, Clayton, if it's because his new role is wearing him out. Have you noticed that?
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And I know we're on Amen Thompson. No, you're not. He has been inserted into that role right now and could be possibly. And everyone at home, Robert's not saying that Amen's falling off a cliff with his defense. It's just last season he was an elite, like all NBA, like lock-up king. Like that's like a victim of his own success, right? That's what we're talking about here. Yeah, I just think Amen personifies kind of the general weirdness of a lot of things with this Rockets team that you clung to last season, and now it just a tad bit off. It's not terrible. It's just not where it needs to be, and the numbers back it up.
What's your second big surprise with the Rockets so far?
So for me, my second, looking at it right now, it's the rebounding. Yeah, man, I know rebounding is like one of those like hustle stats. I get it. But I mean, that was what they were known for last year, especially with now they literally have, repopularized the double big lineup. And just watching all 3 of these games, the second chance points the second chance opportunities just have not been there. And I don't know what it is about positioning. I don't know if these other teams just know that. But I'm looking at it. The Rockets right now are 12th in the NBA in rebounds per game with, 43.5 a game or something. And that's 45.3. Yeah, that feeds right into what you're talking about. Just certain things that you could, put in his chalk last season, like rebounding and tenacity and stuff like that. It's just not where it needs to be. Again, it's only 3 games, but these are just things you notice.
Detroit, to get out rebounded there, especially early in that game, they were just getting killed on the glass and just out hustled. That's not what we expect from an Udoka coach team. I was just very surprised. Typically early in the season, you might have more days off. They had 2 days to prepare for Detroit. You had 2 days off. I mean, it was a double overtime game against OKC. I get it. A very exhausting game to start the season, but you'll take 2 days off in the NBA every single time. Yeah, I agree with you on that. What's your third big surprise so far?
I was torn. Because we talked about Reed, I won't bring him up. Tari Eason. I know he just had his breakout game against the Brooklyn Nets. I know this, but these Brooklyn Nets are also 0-4. So it's, again, not to be that guy, but they're literally probably the worst team in NBA right now. I just look at Tari Eason, and I know he's in a contract year. I know the whole thing. He didn't get a contract extension at the deadline. But I don't like watching Tari Eason try to tween, get his offense going, and you got Kevin Durant in the corner. That's just not Tari Eason. And I'm not saying it and I don't want to get, Mom Eason somewhere. I don't want to get someone upset. It's, Rob, it's just Tari plays a certain role. Can he expand it? Absolutely, right? Like he can do a lot of things on offense. But to me, he's more of the, bring your lunch pail, right? Bring your lunch. He's going to be, terror twin. He's going to turn you over. He's going to, fast break layup. He's going to finish at the rim. He's going to probably hit the occasional corner 3. He's going to muck up the game, right? Kind of like a taller, longer Patrick Beverly. But when I'm watching him try to pull up Jay or step back, whatever, that's not his offense. And I feel like, to go back to OKC, I know we lost in double overtime, but if he just doesn't do a couple of those things, maybe the ball bounces your way and you walk away with a W. I'm not saying it's all on him. I'm just saying in a team sport, you notice, again, the same thing with Amin Thompson. Like, I don't know about this, Tari Eason, and maybe it's temporary. Maybe it got in his ear and said, "Hey, calm down." So we'll see. I don't know, but that's my third one, Tari Eason's performance, and really he just approaches the game starting off the season.
Without looking at the numbers, you want to take a guess at what he's hitting from 3-point range right now?
3-point range? Shoot. What, 25% maybe, something like that.
No, this is how one game skews your numbers. He was so hot with the Nets that he's at 50% from three.
Oh wow.
47.8% from the field. So the Nets numbers just, skew it. I mean, it's one game against 2 games, and yeah, he had two bad games. I mean, the OKC is the type of team they're going to make him struggle because Tari likes to dribble the ball a lot. And if you start dribbling the ball a lot against OKC, I mean, there's a bunch of German Shepherds on that team, and they're not going to let you do that. Right. That's why Reed Shepherd against OKC to me is just a disaster. I mean, that's never going to come out good. And yeah, I want to ask you about Reed Shepherd in just a bit.
Yeah.
But just want to remind everybody that if you're a little bit worried, I guess, about your personal data, Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everybody vulnerable. What do data brokers do? Well, you got your name, contact info, social security number, home address, even info about your family members. That could all be compiled by data brokers and sold online. But now you can protect your privacy with Delete Me. As someone with an active online presence, privacy, just like I'm sure it is with you, it's really important to me. I've had issues in the past. I know the hassle of stuff like that. So, I got to ask you guys, have you ever been a victim of identity theft, harassment, doxing? If you haven't, you probably know somebody who has. Delete Me can help you take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me. We got a special discount for you, 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/HIT, as in HIT. Use the promo code HIT at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is joindeleteme.com/HIT and enter that code HIT at checkout. Deleteme.com/HIT, code HIT. All right, Clayton, do you see enough in Clint Capela so far, or could he be dealt? Or would you be okay with him being dealt for guard depth in a couple of months? Because if Fred doesn't accept a trade, I'm not sure who they could and would want to send out in a deal for a guard.
It would hurt my heart because when Capela's return was first announced, nostalgia, right? Clint Capela's back. But, his time has passed, right? Like, he's no longer the centerpiece of the Rockets, and even as a lob threat, I mean, it looks like he's lost a little bit of vert. I mean, he's still, of course, NBA quality, but he's a bit older now. He plays a different game. But yeah, I think it would hurt sentimentally. But if they had to package him up, then okay, well, thanks, Clint. I mean, thank you for your services. We wish you the best in your future endeavors. And to your point, that's with me not knowing what's on the other side of that trade. I don't know who they're looking at right now or who they could be looking at. Again, it just gets kind of muddy. If, like you said, if Fred doesn't accept the trade, then what kind of do you do? Look, I've had coworkers floating names like, Trae Young and pie in the sky, stuff like that. I think even there's been a LaMelo Ball mentioned somewhere, but I don't know. We just got to get past these contracts and injuries and all these exceptions and all these things. But yeah, to your point, if Clinton had to go, it hurt me. But yeah, he'd be fine to go.
I don't know if they can afford a big fish because you're going to have to pay KD.
Yeah.
Ahmed Thompson's coming up in 2 years. So if you're going to pay somebody that's making a lot of money, it can't go beyond next year.
Yeah.
So because you got Sengun also that you're going to be paying, and you don't want to be paying. You can't pay 4 guys in the modern era. You know, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, no work. Nope.
Like, to me, the guys that you can deal, it's Fred with his salary, but he's got to take the deal.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to 2 guys after that. People are talking about Tari. Tari's not going to get you the money. He's making virtually nothing. You're going to want a guy that's going to be making something. So you're going to have to package maybe Clint
Yeah.
and Reed Shepherd to get the money. Otherwise, I just think this is real difficult. And really, the guy that they're probably more likely to look for, the way I see it, Clayton, is somebody that's a backup. I mean, you got to just hope that Amen is ready as a point guard, and you got that starting five.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever the fifth guy is, whether it's Steven Adams, it could be DFS when he gets back.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where I think that this might go. But
Yeah.
yeah, I gotta say it's Capela and Shepherd unless
Yeah.
Fred, you can brainwash him into accepting a trade somewhere, and it's going to be to a team typically that is not good. So why is he going to want to go there for a year or a year and a half, I guess, with that option that he's got?
No, no, you're right. That's true. And Fred is low key kind of turned into like I don't want to say like a Rockets ambassador, but you see him on the bench, you see him on the sidelines, right? You can see him in an organizational kind of sense being a guy that they value, right? So I just don't know. I don't know if it goes that deep. That's just what I'm looking at. Reed Shepherd now, again, it's super early, but after 3 games and some change last year, it's kind of like, okay. So this is probably why MA probably wasn't the biggest Reed Shepherd guy and get him in there. Okay, cool. No, and look, you said it too, but yeah, no, you're right. We need to send out some kind of value, right? Like, no, I wouldn't want to lose Tari, Capela, Reed. I just don't know who that would get you. The Rockets are just in a very tricky situation, and the moment Fred got hurt, that kind of just you underestimated. I know I'm guilty of it. You underestimated truly how much of a mini tailspin it will put you in circumstantially with Fred being out. But you definitely see it now. And at the same time, you don't have any easy answers because to your point, you're already paying some guys. You're gonna pay some more guys. Guys are shipping out, moving in. Like it's just this kind of it's not a mess per se because you're in a good situation, but logistically you're just in a very tight spot. And Stone is gonna have to get just very very creative in how he balances the salary cap here.
Yeah, they can muddle through. That's what I said before. They can muddle through the season with what they've got. You get to the playoffs, and I just don't see what they can do beyond that. I know everybody looks at Reed Shepherd against the Nets, and they're all excited. You can be excited about that in the way you can be excited about the Texans offense getting going against the Titans and the Ravens, and get excited about the offensive line doing that. He's got to start doing this against real teams, not teams that are like the Nets. So we'll see with that. I just want to point out too, Clayton, if anybody misses Jalen, Dillon, and Cam, but hasn't been keeping an eye on them, Jalen's injured, hasn't played in the preseason or regular season so far. Dillon missed Monday night's game with the groin injury. Don't know how long he's going to be out, but so far he shot 29% from three in his first 3 games. It's even worse for Cam Whitmore, who's shooting 18% from three. Opponents are shooting 57.9% against Cam.
Yep.
But this is the defining Cam Whitmore stat, Clayton. He's taken 31 shots and he's only made 38 passes in 56 total minutes.
That's crazy. Yeah, and look, man, this is why we're sitting here talking, and this is why GMs do what they do, right? We get overly attached to certain players, right? We love the story. That's our guy, and he should get minutes. They know what they see, right? And there's a reason why. And it's not to dunk on Cam Whitmore. It's really not. I was one of the bigger Cam Whitmore guys that said if we traded Jalen Green, Cam Whitmore can slide right in. But the numbers tell you, the eye test tells you he's a chucker, right? Like he's a chucker. And you're trying to move out of the chucker phase. That's why you get rid of Jalen Green. And yeah, Cam Whitmore's passing and defense and all these things. That's exactly probably why Yime was not the biggest Cam Whitmore guy. And not only that, but not to be petty, but you saw probably the clip of him like throwing stuff on the sideline, getting upset. So it's stuff like that you can see, if you remember, that slid him down in the draft, that made teams shy away from Cam Whitmore. So, from that standpoint, absolutely. Of course, Rockets fans don't watch your exes bitterly, but yeah, just stay aware and just understand we're moving in a better direction than what we were. We are better than what we were last season. No, to the random people or the random guy talking about, yeah, we need Jalen Green back. I'm sorry, but no, it's not that bad, and nor will it ever be that bad. We're just fine.
Yeah, and just going back to these Rockets fans that I heard on X the other day, look, you can trash Udoka if you want to, but he didn't trust Cam Whitmore for a reason.
Nope.
He didn't trust Reed Shepherd last year for a reason.
Yep.
He was ready to move off for Jalen Green, move off of him for, Like he's been right again and again and again on his evaluation. These guys, he knows he's been around for a long time.
Yep.
This is a guy that studied under Pop. It's a guy that's been around the league for a while. He's gone to a finals. Like you guys just think these guys grow on trees. The Rockets are lucky to have Ime Udoka. Is he a perfect coach? Is he perfect as an offensive guy? No. But let me just remind you, Steve Kerr, offensive genius, man. This guy, what a genius he is. And then Steph Curry goes out, and guess what? He can't win. You know, they looked terrible against Minnesota in the playoffs when he went out after the Rockets wore him down until he got injured in that series against Minnesota. So, like, you know, you're smart until you don't have the players. And Udoka offensively didn't have the players last year. It was Jalen Green. I mean, I'm sorry, Jalen Green wasn't good enough. Sengun wasn't good enough. I mean, they didn't have guys that were good enough. There was no offensive genius that could have fixed a lot of the stuff that they had issues with. So just keep that in mind. I got to hit one other thing, Clayton, and then I'll let you have some final thoughts. But I don't know what you think about this, but boy, been watching a lot of Wemby. He looks like a legit MVP candidate. FanDuel moved his odds up to second behind SGA already. He's ahead of Jokic in the MVP odds. Last I checked Tuesday. Here's what bugs me though, Clayton. I recorded his games on the free early season league pass just so I could see him because you can't miss him. I mean, what he's doing now, it's must see. This is the most must see athlete since Jordan, Bo Jackson, or Barry Sanders in my lifetime. I mean, you know, you just never know what he's going to do. It's incredible. But the NBA needs to give fans easy every game access to Wemby. Remember, Michael Jordan, most of his games were on WGN. We got to see him do this and develop. And you had a chance to not miss him. Not every game, but most of his games were there. And I get there's going to be some national games, but you got to put all of his national network games, all of them on national network or streaming. The few extra bucks that they can make on League Pass, Clayton, it's not worth near the eyes that you get and the fan base you would grow if they could watch this guy every single game. Not doing this is typical NBA, penny wise, pound foolish.
Absolutely. No, and it does feel like that. You know, it's like the commentary is the NBA product is, I don't want to say dying, but, you know, the popularity is going down, especially as LeBron and Harden and that, you know, Steph Curry and that era of superstar, once they start tailing off, you got to start getting the next generation up. But if you paywall everything, and to your point, we get it's a business, but when you paywall stuff to that degree, you're spitting in your own face. Like you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. Like it doesn't really, no pun intended, it does not make sense. Victor Wembanyama is the basketball equivalent of Shohei Ohtani. That's not an exaggeration. Like what Victor Wembanyama does, and it's not to sound hyperbolic, right? But it's like, I think he's so great that he could go without winning a championship and he still finishes like a top 15, top 10 player. Like if he stays healthy, he is that great. There's nothing you can do about it. And that's the type of all-time great we're talking about. Like when you talk about Wilt, Mike, heck, LeBron, Steph Curry, they all had some kind of trait that you just couldn't coach. They just did it and you could not stop them. Victor is that guy personified. If he stays healthy, regardless of whether or not he has a ring or not, he's a top 10 player all the time if he stays on this arc. And I don't think that's even like an understatement to say that. You give him a couple rings and you're talking like top 5. Easy.
Shohei Ohtani, hey, this is a generational guy. We haven't seen him since Babe Ruth. I get that. I mean, this is incredible what he does. But Shohei Ohtani, he's going to hit a home run. He's going to strike some guys out. But he's not going to show you stuff that you've never seen before outside of the two-way thing. The two-way thing is awesome. But like Wemby, it's nuts what he's doing right now. I mean, as a 7'7" guy, he's out there dribbling like he's Allen Iverson. I mean, he's got the crossover. He's doing the behind the back stuff. I mean, I can't even believe some of the stuff that he's doing. Year 3 in the NBA, he can be a point guard at 7'7", and he makes it look like he's playing on a Nerf hoop while everybody else is playing with the real basket, Clayton. I mean, it's like if you actually sit down and watch the games, it's so much fun because you can watch. I mean, Adam Silver can talk about, oh, it's a highlight league. It's a highlight league. The fun thing about sports when you watch the games is you don't know when it's going to happen.
Mhm.
So there's that anticipation of, hey, when is he going to do something?
Yeah.
I got to watch him at every time.
Right.
When you're watching the highlights, you're expecting like him to jump to the moon or something like that because it's a highlight.
Yep.
But when you're watching the game, you're like, I don't know. That's the thing about highlights. It's like when everything is really good, when everything looks really cool, it sort of downgrades everything. But when you see it compared to what people are doing during a regular game in a regular situation, and him compared to everybody else, then that's where the magic is.
It's stupid. I look, to this day, I hurt. I remember I was on a plane ride back to Houston during the infamous draft where the Rockets could have gotten Wembenyama. And I just still remember watching San Antonio's front office mates clapping and cheering and like they won the lottery, because literally they did. Like they knew what they got. Like, and remembering Wembenyama kind of like breathe a sigh of relief to not go to Houston. Like all these images still flash in my mind. And to watch him in a San Antonio jersey doing what he's doing, the man can jump an inch off the ground and rock the baby and, dunk it. The man took Derek Lively's ankles. Matter of fact, he took the basketball first, swatted it, said, "Give me that, thank you." Took it up the court by himself, dribble, snatch back, pull up 3 and 1 foul. Like, this is what he's doing. And all I can think of now is like, don't let him get to the Lakers. but that's more on the petty side. But absolutely, no, Victor Wembanyama, they need to go ahead and milk that for all it's worth. I mean, listen, you better be glad he fell into your lap, because like I said earlier, the older generation is tapering off, and you're going to have to get ready to start promoting more stars, and Victor is going to lead the way in that regard.
Yeah, Jokic, absolutely fun to watch. SGA, Luka, all these guys, but we're talking about seeing a comet. We're seeing an alien out there. Watch his games when you can, because I mean, this is something that you're never going to see again. It's not going to happen in your lifetime again. This guy's just, it's insane what he's doing at his size. And he's a guy that cares about being great, wants to be great, thinks about it day and night. Every move he makes is towards being that kind of player. So, as long as he stays healthy, and that's really the only question mark of the whole thing, as long as he stays healthy, I mean, it's going to be difficult to do anything with him. It sucks that he went to the Spurs. I get mad at times as I'm watching it. I'm like, why did this happen to the Spurs? Just like, how did Ohtani go to the Dodgers and they're paying him like, nothing, and deferring every, just like some sort of Ponzi scheme scam that they're running with the Dodgers salary cap situation. But yeah, I mean, it's so frustrating with those two guys. But I mean, as a sports fan my whole life, as somebody that, this is why I love it, is because you can see these guys that do these things that you've never seen before in your lifetime. It's incredible to watch him. Any final takeaways from the Rockets, or you can head around the NBA if you wanted to, something that you've seen around the NBA, but anything before we go?
With the Rockets, man, I think, look, it's early, right? The sky's not falling. It's not the NFL, right? There are 82 games in the season. The Rockets are going to get better. Jabari Smith is going to shoot better. Even Reed Shepherd is going to even out at some point. It's early, right? Enjoy the ride. Kevin Durant is still a walking 27-10. That's pretty neat. The Rockets just got to stay the course, continue to trust MA. Guys got to continue just to know their roles and play their roles. Look, man, it's an exciting time in the NBA, like between the Thunder, between the San Antonio Spurs, between the Rockets. It's an exciting time. You got a lot of teams that will skyrocket this season. You got a bunch at the bottom of the barrel, surprisingly. But it's the beauty of sports. I think the Rockets will be fine. I think if they can just get themselves a competent point guard, I think not all things, but I think a lot of issues will solve themselves once they get somebody just consistently solid with the ball that can orchestrate, and that'll be perfectly fine to be chef's kiss.
Absolutely, but I don't know if that's going to happen. The one thing I will say about this team is it's just a lot of likable guys. It's not anybody that you're having to stomach doing stuff that you're like, oh God, I got to sit through this guy's minutes or whatever. Before we go, It's at 713 Sports Talk if you want to follow Clayton. I put up on the screen. He's a Battle Red blog contributor as well. Anything else that you want to plug before we take off, Clayton?
Absolutely. Again, as always, Robert, I'm always thankful and I'm appreciative of your time, sir. Cool guy. I do also do daily Texans content. Yes, you said Battle Red Blog. Also with the Texans Roundtable with guys Big Sarge, myself, Keith Creer, Nick. Daily Texans content every single day. Check it out. You'll see it. It's going to be posted. But yeah, we're gearing up for the Denver Broncos now, and I'll be having some collaborative pieces happening with some Denver Broncos writers, so that should be cool. Yeah, that's about it. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all the same name. I'll be around. So
thank you to our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel.com is the place to go. FanDuel.com. Go over there, and thank you so much, Clayton, for the time and the insight.
Thank you, sir.
You're listening to Houston Sports Talk.
Hey, don't forget to support us by subscribing and commenting on YouTube. You can always listen to us on Spotify, Apple, or your favorite podcast app. Tell your friends about us and share our show links on social media. Spread the word, everybody. Thanks for listening.